The sensitive individual has to face with the problem to fill in the big distance there is between its high hypersensitivity and the true facts of the reality. We should learn to live in with things that cannot be overcome, even if it's impossible to expect that someone who has lost its child can accept it. And here we are at the paradox. Parents who couldn't live existed, and they decided to follow the contrail of the soul of their creators, hoping to find them in their same sky. It's very sad, but we are aware that in our deepest corner we are filled with the life's essence, love and dreams that keep us alive, and we should always try to be rational, to don't make mistakes. If a family radiates warmth, love, security and protection, it gives pure value with which an immortal bond is definitely created. We are very empath people as hypersensitive, and in some contexts we can't be direct cause we worry about how the other person can react. We are careful with words we choose and the way we are. We are conscious and courageous beings, and not by chance. This sensitivity also to aesthetic allows us to appreciate beauty in different forms, from art to nature, enriching our life experience. It's true, sometimes we seem too weak to others when instead, more than them, we know how to dominate fear. Security is the spark that should push us to overcome our limits, to get up after a fall, and to fight for what is right. The courageous people aren't superheroes, but ordinary people who have learned to know themselves well, and they have chosen to cultivate their inner strength with the goal of improving every time. So be courageous. I want to value people, but especially the hypersensitive ones in these minutes, so that you don't always pass as the victim of the situations, cause we aren't, in my opinion. The connection, hypersensitive, so fragile, so weak, so heavy, is not entirely correct, because we literally are. We live everything to the fullest. We have faced and overcome all. I firmly believe in the strength of people, and I bring you an example of a beautiful hypersensitive woman I met. She surprised me, cause she had become widow very early, and she was slipping into the abyss day by day. The psychologist had intervened for clear reasons, but from the beginning he had understood that there was something in her that could really save her. She could get up on her own because she was able to make her own sessions positive. She found the solutions by herself, and the psychologist was happy seeing courage in her motivations to move forward, and then he listened to how the strength seemed to come from itself. You might think that maybe she wasn't so low to recover quickly, but instead she was. Her face was down and she carried all her misery. Then, with time, her friends told me she rediscovered the light at the end of the tunnel, and she also bought a dog. This beautiful woman, hypersensitive like us, could now go back to rebuilding her future, 'cause she found a woman's center, and by word of mouth a job, and in the end a partner, when she was completely good. The cards can be changed in the best way. Hypersensitivities sometimes seem having to fight to survive, and it's crazy this whirlwind of existence that forces many different life conditions on us. where we have to get out and must work to don't cause worries to others. Don't believe people who seem to want controlling your moods. As hypersensitive, I tell you that they don't know that we tend to be temperate moodies and that we experience normal emotional changes. Who wants to control you, for example at work, doesn't care about your emotions. They just want to understand in which situation you are most vulnerable, so to know what move making. Don't always show yourself as you really are there. It's better to evaluate the consequences or improvements at home. In my opinion, we are very pragmatic. We learn from experiences to do better, and we are very aware of the external factors that trigger our moods. We understand and manage emotions in an healthy and constructive way. So I would say that our most accurate definition is that we process information more deeply and intensively than average, which it can lead to a more acute perceptions of details. It's wonderful to understand the effect it has on us. We take the blows deeply, but we are still alive. The life will come beyond everything. It will be a new life. The world needs brave people like you, capable of making a difference.